Welcome back to MKE Gadgets. Before we start today's video, please support me by subscribing to my channel. I thank you. If you're like me, you have a shop vac in your workshop, garage, basement. They're very helpful, but they need some upgrading. And today we're gonna do some hacks to my shop vac. Now you probably don't have the same shop vac that I have, but as long as you get some ideas here, that's what it's all about. I have a list of some of the things we're going to improve today in my shop vac. One of the things I want to do is improve the switch, and we're going to add an outlet. More about the outlet later on, but for that we're going to need an electrical box. And I like using these outdoor ones because you can put a little Teflon tape on these fittings, and that will help keep dust and dirt out. Plus they look nice. So the outlet will go in the box, and on top of there, a nice polished cover. Now maker pipe, if you're not aware, is these fittings that fit on 3/4 inch conduit. They fit on the end, or just goes in here. We're gonna use a few of these today. So this is a 90 connector, and this is a 180 connector. We might use a few more. We'll kind of see how this goes. We'll need some 3/4 inch conduit. I have a 10-foot stick. This is a socket auto switch. You plug your tool in here and your vac in here. So if you stand in the board, as soon as you turn your sander on, the shop vac will start. And this is going to go into that outlet we talked about earlier. Another problem with shop vacs is the cord. The cord is too long or too short. You're running over it or it's tangling on stuff. We're going to eliminate that problem today. I believe all shop vacs should have onboard tools, so we're going to do that today. This is my 15-inch crevice tool and my 27-inch crevice tool. But if you ever use these tools, one of the things that happen is they always get jammed up. For that, we're going to have a 3/4 inch piece of aluminum that can slide in there and unjam the tool. So that's going to be on board. We're also going to have our floor vac, and this is one I got off the curb. It didn't fit my hose exactly right, so I 3D printed a part. The problem with shop vacs is they're kind of tippy, especially when they're empty. We're going to solve that problem with a brake rotor. My neighbor Lady Rose gave me this brake rotor off her Escort. That's going to go in the bottom of the shop vac and make it not so top heavy. Hopefully it won't tip over. First, let's take a look at my shop vac. I made a prototype and we're going to talk about how we're going to make it today. So this is my shop vac. It's got a steel drum, small wheel in the front, and 2 lawnmower sized wheels on the side. And it's really nice because you can pull it around the shop by the vac hose. And that's where one of the problems we run into is running over the electrical cord. Let's zoom in here and take a closer look. So I have this PVC tube here, and that's where I store my 2 crevice tools and my clean out tool. I got a piece of conduit clamp here, and that's where my floor sweep hangs out. That works out real nice. If you go way at the top, you look way in the top here, I just got a hook and I just drape my cord over it to keep it off the floor. I've been using this setup for a couple of years and I've been quite happy with it. Until I started building things with maker pipe, and I said, well, I could add a switch, put the cord inside, and I'll show you what I have made up. So here's the electrical box in the middle of my conduit. And that's going to fit in down here. I have my maker tube that will go to the handle on each side. And on top, I have a big hook. And on top for the electrical cord, took my conduit bender and I bent this pipe in a 180. The electrical cord would fit up to the conduit. And I printed a little adapter with the black filament here from the 3D printer. I'll put some electrical tape on there and you never see it. This is going to be a good 6.5 feet in the air so I can walk underneath it without hitting my head. So my first challenge today is this tube diameter is 1 inch. The maker tubes are made for 3/4 inch. So I want this to go on to here. The 1 inch piece of aluminum tubing, and I had to take it over in my vise and overbend it. I got one done. Let's do the other one. Let's go over to the vise and see if we can modify this. I'll take my maker pipe connector and put it around there. I have my maker connector around my 1 inch tube, same size as the handle in the back. I have my soft jaws on here to protect a nice black finish. And I'm just going to bend this till these two pieces touch. Now I know when I release this, it's going to come apart a little bit. So I can do it again. I think it's just enough of a bend where that's going to work perfect. So here we are at my welding table, and I took the handle off the shop vac, and this is like the before picture. We're going to move in here and take a little closer. I'm using these conduit clamps, and that kind of holds everything together. I'm going to take them all apart, and I'm going to put my maker pipe on there. So this is how we're starting out. The shop vac is 30 years old, and this handle has been chromed. And it's a little rusted and a little dirty. I got a Scotch-Brite here with a little oil, and I've been just taking some of that crud off, and you can see the chrome isn't pitted, it's just dirty. So once I get everything apart on here, I'm going to take some chrome cleaner and clean this up, and that's going to really help. But first we got to take everything apart. So everything is reassembled, and this time I'm using the maker pipe. I still have it on my welding table, so let's take a look at it. So way in the top, I'm going to add a cord, but first I got to put on the shop vac, make sure it fits. So I have all my tools back on board. Here's a shot of the 3 maker pipe pieces, 90, 180, and around 90. And here's going to be my outlet switch. So let me take it off of here, put it in the shop vac, and I'm going to wire it up. Well, everything is put back together just how I started out, but I use maker pipe. I only use 3 pieces, but it really helped us build along. Let's take a closer look from the top. Here we have our cord, and it goes up piece of conduit. The little black piece is 3D printed little bushing. Conduit comes down. It goes into this electrical box. That's switch. And you can see the 3 pieces of maker pipe down there. And I have my 3 tools on board here. My tall crevice tool and a clean out tool, my short crevice tool, and the floor wand. Everything stays right here on board. Now over here, with this outlet, you unplug the shop vac. I plug in my Isocket. The Isocket has 2 outlets, one for the back, and the lower one is for the tool. You turn the switch on. So whenever I turn on my sander, it turns on the shop vac. So that way I'm sanding, you don't have to go back and forth and turn the shop vac on. So this is MKE Gadgets. Hope you enjoyed today's video of a couple hacks for a shop vac. Chances are you don't have a shop vac like this one. This one is 30 years old and they don't make them anymore. So today we used some maker pipe connectors, some conduit, an old extension cord, and I think we did some nice upgrades to the shop vac. Please subscribe if you haven't, and tell your friends. Thanks, we'll see you tomorrow.